Good afternoon, Pute. Can anyone confirm whether I'm audible to you? Can you all hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
All right, okay. Thank you for the confirmation, right? So, right, okay, Pute, yes. So, thank you for the confirmation. Still, we have only average 16 or 15 students, right? Just pass the message, Pute, because we have to first today cover the chapter number 3. There are a few areas to be covered. Then we are moving on to start the new chapter. And I have to share some information also regarding the upcoming sessions, right? So in that case, I will wait maximum for another couple of minutes and then I will start the session. Meantime, from your end, just encourage others to join to the session as soon as possible, right? Within another maximum of 5 minutes time, I will start the session and I will discuss the information regarding the upcoming sessions. Then we'll move on to see the content of content of chapter number 3, the last area, as well as we'll start chapter number 4, right? Right, okay, Putri, we'll start. Right, good afternoon. So today, like we are meeting after kind of a long period of time, Putri, because we couldn't conduct lectures for the past, I guess, 2 weeks, right? Last week also, we didn't conduct a lecture for skills in leadership and innovation, and that May end week also we didn't. So it was a holiday for you, Nipute. So in that case, we are meeting, I guess, after like 2 weeks time, average 2 weeks time. So if I recall, if I remind you the things that we have discussed so far, we have completed Pute, already we have completed chapter number 1, right? And then we have completed chapter number 2, as well as Pute during last session, right? We have started chapter number 3, but I have not completed it. There are like few areas to be completed, right? So today my plan is to complete that remaining area of chapter number 3, and I want to start chapter number 4, but I'm pretty sure Pute, I cannot complete chapter number 4 because the content wise chapter number 4 is a little bit lengthy compared to other chapters. It's lengthy, right? So in that case, I can guarantee you like I cannot complete chapter number 4 within today. So, but I will start and continue up to a point. So then next week we can continue with the remaining part of chapter number 4, right? The thing is with it, next week is 21st, right? Now you all have to physically come for the lectures, right? That is there with it. So because why I have conducted lectures via online, if it is from 3 to 5, right? It's not convenient for you to just come for this lecture at 3 to 5, right? Or 12 to 3. So I can understand you totally with it, but now I can schedule the lecture from 8 to 10 or the 8 to 12. So then we can continue the lecture through physical mode, right? Another good news for you is we like this is the I guess 5th week, right? Then within another maximum of 5 weeks, we can complete this subject, right? So last 2 weeks, right? Last 2 weeks, I'm keeping for the presentations, right? Then content-wise, we can finish the remaining content. That means chapter number 5 and chapter number 6 with another 3, right? So next week, it will be a physical lecture from 8 to 12. Then I will complete chapter number 4 and I will discuss some past paper questions with you, right? Past paper questions related to chapter number 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4. Okay. So then we'll see, like if time permits, definitely I will do the past papers with you, because I couldn't do past papers with you there, right? So I have that point in my mind. So once I get the time, definitely I will do past paper questions with you, right? So then next week is 6th week. Then 7th week I'm keeping to complete number 5, right? That is from motivation. Then week number 8, right? I'm keeping to do the last chapter, chapter number 6. Okay. So then within maximum of 3 weeks time right? We can complete the content related to this chapter, including past papers, right? I mean, definitely I will take past papers and I will discuss the questions with you. I will give you the instructions in terms of providing the answers for those past paper questions, right? Then for that, week number 9 and week number 10, I'm scheduling the group presentations, right? For the group presentations, for that I need to have a group list. From 18A weekday, I need to have a group list for that, right? Then from 18B weekday, 18A weekend, also I need to have a group list. And from the exemption batch also, for that I need to have, from 18C exemption also, I need to have a group list, right? Once you all come next week physically, then we'll see this group formation thing. We'll discuss it and we'll sort it out, right? Based on the student count, I will decide how we are like going to form groups. And if you have if you already have groups, then you can continue with them for that, right? So I want to discuss the group assignment as well as the individual assignment also today with it. Then you can continue with them. I know some of you all have already started and you all have shared the article also with me. So in that case, we'll discuss the individual assignment as well as group assignment today. Then you can continue with those assignments, right? So that is the plan for there, right? So again, I will summarize. Next week, it will be a physical lecture from 8 to 12, right? So there we focus on chapter number 4, right? And the past paper questions. Then week number 7, we are keeping to finish chapter number 5. And week number 8, we can allocate to finish chapter number 6. Then week number 9 and week number 10, those are the last 2 weeks. So we can keep those 2 weeks for the presentations, group presentations, right? That is the plan for that. So if you want to clarify anything, you can directly contact me and you can take the clarification, right? So meantime, I mean, like while I'm delivering the lecture also, if you want to clarify anything regarding upcoming lectures as well as the group assignment and other things with that, you can ask from me, right? Then I will provide you the clarifications, right? Okay, let me move on to finish the content related to chapter number 3, right? Then we'll discuss the 2 assignments. Then I will move on to start chapter number 4. Okay, right. So here was the last week, not last week, during last session, right? In last session, we have started chapter number 3. It's about performing under challenges. And we have discussed the majority, I mean, the main areas related to this chapter. We have few areas to be covered today, right? So then if you can remember, I have highlighted if someone wants to perform under challenges, right? As a leader, definitely we have to handle multiple tasks as well as the leaders have to play multiple roles, right? So then without any doubt, it's really clear managers or the leaders have to perform under different challenges, right? So then if a leader wants to perform under different types of challenges, they need to have a positive mindset or optimistic mindset, and they need to have good level of self-confidence, right? So then we have discussed with how people can or the leaders can develop self-confidence and positive thinking, right? So I have asked you to write down some strategies which you can easily recall, and I have highlighted these strategies are important for the examination, right? So these are some strategies for the set clear and achievable goals, practice self-awareness. That means we need to have a clear idea about our own weaknesses, our own strengths, right? Not only that, even we need to have a clear idea about opportunities and threats also with it, right? Positive self-talk, practice gratitude, and to maintain. Then we have discussed aspects. Noted, right? The importance and usage of right resources for the give me 1 second for this. So give me 1 second. Sorry for that. There was a sound at that side. Right, okay. So yes, then I have highlighted the importance of work prioritization and the usage of right resources for the, I mean, like when leaders have to perform under challenges, especially when they need to handle multiple tasks, when they need to perform multiple roles, but they definitely they need to prioritize work and they have to think how to use right resources, right? Because they need to effectively complete them and everything. So then I have discussed the importance of prioritization and the importance of using right resources, right? So all these things we have discussed with it. If you want to clarify anything, just ask me. I just refresh it, but we have discussed during last session. Then we have discussed about these Eisenhower matrix, right? So then I have explained how leaders can prioritize work based on the importance and based on the urgency, right? If there's an urgent and important task, right, definitely then leader has to do it with it. He has to complete it. He has to do it, right? Imagine today there's a task that is urgent but not important. Strategically, it's not that much important. Then today leader should not, I mean, leader no need, if we consider the leader's point of view, right, he can focus on strategic things and those things, but then he can delegate to one of his or her subordinates or for the subordinates, right? And imagine with in the to-do list, reader can find there are certain tasks, those are really important, but not that much urgent, right? Then they can strategically think and schedule them for a later period of time, right? They can decide later regarding those tasks. Same time, in leaders to-do list, there can be some tasks, right, which are not urgent and which are even not important also. Then no point of keeping those tasks in the to-do list. They can delete them from the task list, right? So in that way, the leaders can apply this Eisenhower matrix for the work prioritization and task management, right? Those things we have discussed with it. Then we have discussed about these multiple skills to handle and thrive with heavy workload. And we have discussed about how leaders can handle multiple tasks and I have asked you to write down 2 strategies from the organizing strategies and 2 strategies from the delegation and collaboration. Finally, I have asked you to write down 2 strategies from self-care and stress management. So you have written, right? So today, Pute, we have to start with this particular point or this particular slide. Here, the title is managerial skills. Basically, Pute, we are going to focus on 2 areas. One is managerial skills. After this, we are going to focus on self-awareness, right? These 2 things are, again, Pute, really important to work under challenges. So to perform under challenges. That it's very clearly put there, when we are performing as a manager in the organization, especially put there, if you are working as a senior level manager, right? Imagine there's a person, that particular person is the general manager of a particular discipline, right? In a particular discipline. Then for the senior managerial role, so then that particular person, if the person wants to work under challenges and if he or she wants to survive in the organization with high level of performance, as well as if he or she wants to effectively complete the task, right? The leader must focus on improving and maintaining managerial skills, right? So there are 3 main managerial skills. You all have learned them in management subject also with it. So there are 3 managerial skills, especially if a manager is working as a senior level manager. If the manager is a real decision maker, strategic decision maker, then that particular person should have conceptual skills. That means that the person of that leader should have very good cognitive abilities, right? Otherwise, but it's really hard to perform under challenges. When someone is arguing, when someone is coming up with different counter arguments, then but you need to have proper cognitive abilities to defend them and to solve those problems and to answer those problems, right? From other hand, but like leadership or the manager in the sense, but like that particular person have to like do lots of things with decision making, right? So then in order to make decisions, because when they have to perform under different conditions and under different challenges with it, they have to make different types of decisions, right? So it's a full of decisions, but like they have to make different types of decisions. Then sometimes they cannot allocate considerable time to make decisions. So they need to sometimes quickly make decisions, right? Because there's a pressure as well as there are different challenges. Then for that, they need to have a good cognitive ability, thinking capacity, right? As well as he or she needs to maintain good interpersonal skills with it. I mean, like they need to maintain good relationships with the stakeholders, human skills, right? They have to have the ability to work with others and they have to have the ability to work through others also, right? And they need to have the technical skill. That means that they need to have the knowledge in relation to a particular area, right? හැබැයි අපි consider කරොත් පුතේ senior level manager කෙනෙක් ඒ කියන්නේ for an example CEO or a general manager, right? If that particular person is not for a particular functional area, right? Then they don't need to have that much of technical skill, right? But they need to have good level of conceptual skill as well as they need to have a moderate level of interpersonal skills and as well as required level, right? So keeping in your mind that while we are learning these 3 managerial skills separately, we were discussing about performing under challenges. So if a person, if a leader wants to perform under challenges, right? And if that person wants to deliver effective outcomes, then the person should build and maintain conceptual skills, human skills, and the technical skills. Right? That is the uh, link between these managerial skills and the performing under challenges. Right? Okay. Then today we are coming to the last part of chapter number 3. Can you remember today when discussing about performing under challenges? Now, also I have highlighted if a person wants to work or perform under challenges, then that particular person needs to have good self-confidence and a positive mindset, positive thinking, right? And we have discussed about the different strategies that leaders can apply to develop and maintain a positive mindset and the self-confidence. There, can you remember we have written, you all have written, right? Don't know whether you have written or not. We have discussed today something called practice self-awareness, right? This self-awareness is really important for a leader today, especially if the leader wants to perform in problematic or the challenging situations for them, they need to have a proper self-awareness. Self-awareness in the sense, leader should have a clear idea about personal strengths, weaknesses, the opportunities which are existing in the environment and the threats for him or her. Right? So why it is required to perform under challenges, then for the like if a person know about his or her strengths, then he or she uses them for a kind of a I mean like it's a like kind of a motivation for them, right? When they know about their strengths for them, then it enhances their self-confidence as well as like it enhances their motivation level also, right? As well as when they know about their weaknesses, they take necessary actions to overcome them. They know if they are going with those weaknesses, then they cannot perform, right? To avoid that, what they can do is they can take necessary actions to overcome those weaknesses, right? Then what will happen when they have a self-awareness? They are taking the maximum from their strengths, right? As well as they are trying to overcome the weaknesses and they are trying to convert them into strengths. So then for them, those things will support the leader to enhance their confidence as well as improve their positive thinking. So then it positively contributing to perform under challenges, right? Another important thing today here that I want to highlight is apart from the relationship between self-awareness and the performing under challenges, this self-awareness is really important for the leadership development, right? So when we consider leadership development process, there's something called leadership development process, right? So in that process, we can find 4 stages. It's starting with leading yourself, right? If a person wants to lead an organization, if the person wants to be a CEO, he or she has to start with leading his or herself with it, right? Leading yourself. මුලින් අපි lead කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා, right? So then only we can lead a team. Then only we can lead others. Then when we have the confidence, we can move on to the next step. Then we can lead a functional department or a strategic business unit. Then for that, we can lead an organization as well. Then a person can lead an organization. So that is the flow with it. Leading yourself, leading a team, leading a department, and leading an organization, right? So then starting with the fundamental level or the basic level is leading yourself. So that is the starting point of leadership development process, right? If the person wants to lead his or herself with it, then that particular person should have a clear idea about his or her weaknesses, strengths, right? In leadership development process, also this self-awareness, practicing self-awareness playing a critical role, right? So it's better to maintain a small note regarding this leadership development process with it. You should know the 4 steps or the 4 stages of this leadership development process. And imagine in the examination, if I'm asking you to explain the role of self-awareness in leadership development process, then you should be able to explain it to them, right? My question is, there can be a question like this: explain the role of self-awareness in leadership development process. Then you can explain with it. There are, like, when it comes to the leadership development process, there are 4 stages. They are leading yourself, leading others, leading a department, and leading an organization. Then you can mention this leadership development process starts with leading yourself. So in order to lead the persons or the his or herself, the person should have a clear idea about his or her weaknesses and the strengths. If they cannot accurately evaluate their weaknesses and the strengths, then they cannot effectively lead themselves, right? Then it creates negative effects on leadership development process. Then it takes more time to step into the next step, that is leading others, leading departments, and leading organization. So therefore, if a person want to effectively proceed with leadership development process, the person should have a clear understanding about his or her weaknesses and the strengths. Then the person can effectively lead her or his self, and accordingly he or she can lead others, departments, and the organization effective, right? So in that way, you need to have a explanation regarding the relationship between this self-awareness and the leadership development process. That you should be able to explain the role of self-awareness in leadership development process, right? Okay. Then today I have to do a small activity with you. You know about SWOT analysis, Nepute, right? SWOT analysis in the sense, it's a kind of analytical framework that organizations use to analyze its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For an example, if we consider skilled employees, it's a strength. If we consider not having skilled employees, so financial constraints, those are weaknesses. If they have a kind of a possibility to expand its market into a foreign market, it's an opportunity. If an organization has to experience or face an intensive or kind of a huge competition, it is a threat for them, right? So in that way, we apply SWOT analysis to understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities of an organization. It's an environmental analytical framework. So same framework we can apply for ourselves as well. When we are applying SWOT analysis for the, human beings, we refer it as personal SWOT analysis, right? This time, we analyze the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to us, related to individuals, right? Not the organizations. Okay. So here, take 5 to 10 minutes. I will give you maximum of 10 minutes for that. Conduct a personal SWOT analysis, right? And identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the opportunities available, what are the threats, right? You can identify at least 3 points for each, for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then you can highlight if there are some sort factors which related to leadership skill, then highlight them with it. For an example, imagine if you have good communication skills, right? Or if you feel that you can solve problems effectively, right? Then those are strengths. Then those factors are really, really helpful to become a successful leader. Then those factors are directly creating effect on leadership skills. So then you can highlight them, right? Just highlight really the some. If you identify some factors which are related to leadership also, then highlight them. So do a personal SWOT analysis. Analyze yourself and see what are the strengths that you have, what are the weaknesses that you are experiencing, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats available. Right? I will give you time till 3:55. Right? You have average of 9 minutes. Do this one today. There's a reason why I'm asking you to do this, right? So do a genuine thing for it. Don't search in the internet, right? This is kind of a subjective thing. So you need to conduct a personal SWOT analysis, right? So take few minutes and think with at least if you are not willing to write them in a notebook, right? That's fine, right? At least from your mind with it, just try to figure out what are the strengths that you have, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So do this. Meantime, if you want to clarify anything, Pute, just ask from me. I'm here. Right? Okay, Pute. Now it's 3:52, right? So the thing is, Pute, why I have asked you to do this, right? That's why I have asked you to like do a genuine thing also. Now, Pute, like you have identified, if you have done this, strengths and weaknesses. So this is a very good time today. You need to take actions on the weaknesses, right? So because dream to become a successful leader, right? We consider human beings, but we are not perfect, right? Opportunity or a possibility to convert our weaknesses into strengths, then it will take real step up on like to a successful leader, right? How you to reduce your weaknesses, your personal weaknesses. Sometimes with it, sometimes you may have poor communication, right? Fear of public speaking. With it, now at least you have identified it. Now take necessary actions to convert them into a kind of a your communication skills if you want to process different programs, very engaging and interacting sessions are right? So yes, so in that way, today what I wanted to do, or what I wanted to highlight, it's like take necessary actions before moving on to chapter number 4. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me? But am I audible? Can't you hear me? But can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
All right, okay. Thank you for the confirmation. So because with the, I can see that like it is showing me as there's an issue with the connection, right? So whenever I mean like if you cannot remember me, not remember if you cannot. I mean, like, if I'm not audible to you, if you cannot clearly hear me, Pute, just tell me, right? So then I can see what I can do. So if you cannot hear me, Pute, so directly tell me, right? So yes, what I wanted to explain regarding the two assignments, right? So if we consider the individual assignment, the deadline is 28th of June. Don't know whether you are aware on this or not, right? Some of your friends have started to do the individual assignment and they're continuing with that as well. They have shared the articles and they got the confirmation also, right? So if you log into LMS and if you check the deadline of individual assignment, you can identify the deadline, right? So let me explain the two assignments for there, right? Let me stop sharing. Meantime, if you want to clarify anything regarding chapter number 3, just ask from me for there, right? So because from this, we are like completing the content related to chapter number 3. After giving you the instructions for the two assignments, then I'm moving on to chapter number 4, right? Okay. So in individual assignment, Pute, from your end also, it's better to open the document, right? In individual assignment, what you have to do is you have to select a publish research article, right? It should be a published journal research article, right? It can be the journal එකක. Sorry, publish වෙච්ච research article එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So for an example, Pute, how you can find it? So in Emerald Insight, Pute, there are different, for an example, right? In Emerald Insight, there are different articles. So just download them, right? Select one article. I will give you the areas, right? I will tell you the areas. So then download articles related to those areas and you can see Pute, if it is a research article, if it is a published journal research article, Pute, in top of the research article, it shows the journal name. මොන journal එකේද publish වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියන එක පුතේ research article එකේ උඩ පෙන්නන. Right? එතකොට Emerald Insight එකෙත් ඔයා බලන්න journal වල publish වෙච්ච article ගන්න. Right? Journal එකක publish වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒක වාට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් journal එකකද publish වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියන එක පුතේ article එකේ උඩ තියෙනවා. ඒක journal එකක publish වුණා නම් මොන journal එකේද කියන එක. Journal name තියෙනවා. Journal of this කියන එක තියෙනවා. Right? So if you want to clarify, if you want to get a confirmation regarding the research article with the validity of the research article, just send to me via an email, then I will provide you the confirmation. Right? It's better to go with a published research article. And if it is a journal article, but it's more appropriate. පුළුවන් තරම් journal articles හොයාගන්න බලන්න. එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ publish වෙච්ච පොදුවේ conference වල එහෙම publish වෙච්ච research article නැතුව පුළුවන් කමක් තියනවා නම් පුතේ හොඳම දේ තමයි journal research article හොයාගන්න. Right? So then පුතේ like you can focus on few areas, right? When you are selecting research articles, just consider this area. You can consider, you need to select only one article, right? You don't need to select one article from each of these areas. No, you want to select one article from any of these areas within. Right? Mang areas ඔකට 8ක් විතර කියයි. 8ට එක ගානේ ඕනේ නැහැ. You need to have only one article. Right? From any area of these 8 areas. One area is leadership skills. Right? And you can find articles related to importance of assertiveness for leadership. Then you can search articles related to leadership challenges. Or you can search articles related to being proactive and independent, change management and leadership, creativity and leadership, leadership and innovation. Then you can search some articles related to trends in leadership, right? You can select one area and then you can search for them. So then download one research article and for them, especially try to download a research article or try to consider a research article which is published after 20, 21, 22 දෙදස් විස්සට පස්සේ ගොඩක් හොඳයි 2022කට විතර පස්සේ publish වෙච්ච article එකක් ගත්තොත්. Right? Try to download and try to consider one of the most recent article papers for this assignment, right? And you just need to analyze it with it, right? You can, right? You have the freedom with it. I have not given you a format for this, right? If we consider research article, there are different subsections with it. Introduction, then literature review, methodology. In that way, but there are different subsections. Based on those subsections also, you can do the analysis. Right? So, or else with it, you can focus on the results of the article and then you can critically analyze them, right? You can analyze the validity of those results, whether those results are, like in the article, if it is explaining some recommendations. So then you can like critically analyze whether those recommendations are valid for the Sri Lankan context or not, right? If you are telling those findings are not relevant to the local context or the Sri Lankan context, then justify why you are telling no, those findings are not relevant to the Sri Lankan context, then justify why you are telling so. If you are telling yes, those results or the recommendations are appropriate or applicable for Sri Lankan context, for that also you need to justify. You need to critically analyze, right? You can analyze all the areas of the article, but you need to pay more attention for the results and the recommendations, right? If you are taking a systematic review, right? සමහර article තියෙනවා පුතේ ඒව systematic review. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ මේ research එකක්, ඒ කියන්නේ analysis එකක් නැහැ. Literature review එකක් වගේ තියෙන්නේ, right? එතකොට literature review එකක් වගේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ වගේ තැනකදී what you can do is you can analyze the content, right? So it's better to share the article, then I will provide you the confirmation. Right? If you want to clarify anything regarding this individual assignment, ask from me, Pute. I will then provide you the instructions or the clarifications. So this word count is 3,000. So you can have a 10% deviation. It can be 2,700 or it can be 3,300 words. Right? See the dahaya adu වැඩි වුණාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Okay, so hope I'm communicating to you. If you want to clarify anything, ask from me, Pute, right, regarding the individual assignment. I will give you 1 minute. If you want to clarify, ask will you. Then I can move on to the group assignment.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pute. Yes.
Madam, one question now. When we upload our individual assignment, do we need to upload the journal article as well?
No, you don't need to upload it separately, Pute. It's better to attach the journal article. Let me do like this. Don't attach it, Pute. Just send it to me via email and take the confirmation. Don't
Okay,
upload it
understood.
separately, Pute. Don't upload it separately. You don't need to attach it also because you are including the reference. So then from the reference, Pute, I can find the paper. You don't need to separately attach the paper article to the LMS under the assignment folder. Anyway, but I have allowed you to upload only one document also. And you don't need to attach the article also to your assignment. Just include the reference of the article. Then I can refer it. If you want to take any clarification regarding the selected article, send it to me via an email, then I will confirm.
Understand. Thank you.
Right, okay.
If you can again repeat the area that we supposed to search, madam, that 8 areas.
Yes. Yes. So I will repeat, no problem. Yeah. After this also, but like if you want to find the areas, it's like mentioned in the assignment guideline, right? Leadership skills.
Okay, madam. If it is there, no problem, madam.
Right. You can find them with the
Okay, thank you very much,
individual
madam.
assignment guideline. From you don't need to download different articles from these areas, but like you need to download. You need to find one article from any of this area, any of in the sense, but then first select one area and select one article from that area. That's it. Right? Okay. So then, shall I move on to group assignment also, Pute? Yes, I will give you the instructions for the group assignment. This time also, Pute, I mean like some time to time I'm changing the group assignment, but this time I didn't change this, right? So this is the assignment that I have given for 17C. So, but Pute, I can remember everything, right? So I have the reports also, right? Those are in separate folder. So don't, I mean, like you can ask clarifications from them, but don't copy it. Right? I have the document today. හැම report එකම තියෙනවා 17C හැම එකකම තියෙනවා මට කරපු දේවලුත් මතකයි ගත්ත detailsවත් මතකයි. එතකොට එකම දේ repeat වෙනවනම් I can identify it, right? So in that case, Pute, for group assignment also, you have to do a genuine thing, right? Let me explain you the group assignment. Then we can move on to start chapter number 4. So in group assignment, Pute, you have to select 2 leaders, right? 2 corporate leaders. You need to select 2 corporate leaders from same industrial sectors, and you need to do a comparison, right? So for this method, you need to interview them, right? Definitely you need to interview them. You need to select 2 leaders, 2 corporate leaders, and you need to interview them, and you need to attach the evidences as well. In the presentation, in the report, you need to attach the evidences. That means you need to attach photos, right? So in the assignment also, for the group assignment also, I have included the areas that you all have to cover, right? First, you need to give an introduction to the selected 2 leaders, right? Then you need to discuss about their education background. Then you need to discuss their working experience. Then the challenges that they have faced. Then the characteristic related to assertiveness. Then their key milestones in their professional life. If you find any, like if they are openly sharing milestones in their personal life, then you can include them as well. So then you can discuss what are the strategies that they use to maintain a positive or optimistic mindset. Then you can discuss the strategies that they use to take initiatives. You can discuss about their proactiveness, then the way that they are managing stress, right? So you can discuss about their collaborative mindset, problem solving, conflict resolution. In that way, I have included the areas that you have to cover in the group assignment, right? When you are like developing a questionnaire, right? In order to conduct the interview, you need to have questions, right? So the moderators or group members have to ask questions from the person, from the leader, then you need to have a interview guide, right? You need to have questions. ඒකටම හිර වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. අර එනාට මූලිකව කවර් කරන්න ඕනේ කන්ටෙන්ට් එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැනගෙන යන්න එපා. අහන්න ඕනේ questions ටික. එයාට නිදහස දෙන්න පැහැදිලි කරන්න. හැබැයි මේකට අදාළ දේවල් ටික අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ areas ටික. ඒ නිසා questionnaire එක draft කරගෙන යන්න අහන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රශ්න ටික. right? ඒ අහන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රශ්න ටිකට අදාළ වෙන්න ඕනේ areas ටික I have given in the assignment guideline. right? So in the report, you have two possibilities. One is, so here, like you all have to select two personalities, right? One option is, first you can select the first person and you can explain all the information related to that particular person first. Then once you finish the explanations and the descriptions related to the first person, then you can come to the second person and you can cover all the areas related to that person as well. එතන report එකේ පළවෙනි leader ගැන කතා කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ එයා ගැන කතා කරලා ඉවර කරලා මේ areas ටික කියනවා. මේ areas වලට අදාළ හැමදේම කියවෙන්න ඕනේ දෙන්නා ගැනම. Then you are coming to the second person, second leader, and then you are like discussing about that particular person, right? Other option available is like for each area, you can do a comparison. For an example, when it comes to the introduction to the two leaders, you don't need to do a comparison, right? You don't need to do a comparison. So then, if we consider working experience, right? Then you can compare with it, right? You can take the first person, right? Then you can discuss the working experience related to this person in the same place. You can explain the working experience related to second person, right? So then you don't need to separately do a comparison. First option, at the end, you need to do a comparison, right? Because you are not going to do a comparison in the explanation. So you just explain everything related to first person. Then you explain the things related to second person, right? That's how it goes. So then at the end of the two explanations, you need to include a comparison. අගට compare කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම අගට කරන්නේ නැතුව හැම තැනකටම කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ නම් ඒක clear කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතනවා නම් if you feel that it's more effective, then what you can do is for each area you can do a comparison. For example, if we consider proactiveness, you can take two personalities and you can explain their characteristics, and in the same place you can do the comparison as well. Then at the end, you don't need to do a separate comparison. Right? So when you are selecting leaders also, if you want to clarify anything, just ask from me, then I will provide you the clarifications, right? So because today now you have to start this, otherwise you cannot finish the assignment, right? Group assignment before the deadline, right? Then කෙනෙක්ව හොයාගෙන interview කරන එක පටන් ගන්න, right? Because they also busy if we consider leaders, right? So they also have tight schedules and they are busy. So then in order to like fix a date and a time slot, for that also it takes a time, right? So focus on this and start working on group assignment as well. Right? Okay. Right. So if you want to clarify
Madam,
anything regarding the group assignment, ask you. Yes, ask you. Yes, ask you.
Yes. Hello, madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, madam. We are having around 6, 7 online students overseas. So, what is your opinion and advice? How do we conduct this?
So then, but they like what they can do is they can act as one group. They can form one group. Still, but they have the option. They can conduct an online meeting. Right? They are from different countries. So if in that particular, I mean, like if they have 5 overseas students with it, then we'll form one group for the overseas student, right? So then they can conduct the interviews through online. Then if other members are from other countries, right, all of them are not from the same country, so they are from different countries. So then select 2 leaders and you can conduct the meeting through MS Teams or Zoom. That's fine. Even for you all also.
So
right?
that means we
Yes.
need to, sorry, madam, we need to conduct that the leader through online, you mean?
Yes. That's fine because otherwise there's no any option. I can understand. So then conduct the meeting online. Make sure to take a screenshot of the online meeting.
Okay, we'll try our best, madam, because
Huh?
yes, we will try our best because maybe they actually maybe they not recognize us also. We go and say that okay, we are having such kind of assignment. We need to interview you. Maybe
The
they
thing
will
is,
surprise because they never see us maybe and they never heard about the university or something. But however, we will try at least.
no. Think like this, right? So I can understand, like when you are trying to find a person from the foreign countries, but then it will be a kind of a difficult thing. I can understand. Why not? But you can find lots of people from Sri Lanka. So use your contacts, networking. You don't need to reach
Okay, we'll try, madam. Yes.
highest level leaders, right? Senior managers are sufficient. You need to learn something. If you are working also as a senior level manager, then just find to select a person who is in the same level, but still you are like that. You also inspiring to the like select a person who is in the senior level category. That's fine, Pute. Right? I can understand. So try to use the contacts and networks and try to find a person from Sri Lanka.
Understand, madam. Yes. Thank you.
Right? So and it's okay to like go with senior level manager. You don't need to like reach. I mean, like if it is difficult, then you don't need to reach chief executive officers, right? Or the chairman, no Pure, right? Just focus on the senior level category. If you can reach, then that will be really good. But if not, then it's okay to like go with senior level managers. Right? We'll see while you're doing the
Okay, madam.
activity,
Thank you.
if you feel any inconvenience or a kind of impractical thing, if it is not practical, just tell me. We'll see how we can sort it out.
Thank you, madam.
Right, okay. So then let me take you to the chapter number 4. We have few minutes. Now it's 4:21, but we can start and we'll cover the first few areas related to chapter number 4. Then next week we can complete it. That's right. Meantime, also, if you want to clarify anything regarding group assignment, ask from me, then I will provide you the clarifications. Right? Let me share the slides with you. Right, okay. So the chapter name is Lead or Handling Strategic Change. Right? So It's not just change, right? Strategic change. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between normal changes or like ordinary changes, just changes and strategic changes. If you want to consider something as a strategic change, there are some characteristics which that it has to like fulfill, right? So take 1 minute and think, what is the strategic change? Think the organizational context, right? And if we want to consider a change as a strategic change, right? What are the areas that we have to cover? I mean, like, what is a strategic change? Think some examples for strategic changes. I will give you 1 minute, then I will explain what is a strategic change and I will give you some examples. But before directly listen to my explanations, from your end, just search what is a strategic change and try to practically think and identify some examples for strategic changes. I will give you 1 minute, think. Right, okay. In order to consider, right, something as a strategic change, definitely put it, there should be a significant transformation, right? It's not just a transformation or just a shift, right? It should be a significant transformation and it should alter the overall strategy of the organization. It should change the direction or the targets of the organization, right? So that's why in the first point it says strategic change is a significant transformation in a business organization's direction, goals, or operations that alters its overall strategy. I will give you some examples, right? Other thing, I want to highlight the importance of this area for the leadership, right? So, especially with it, when we have to work as managers or leaders of the organizations, right? We need to go with strategic changes, right? Always I'm highlighting it. If we consider any business organization, its ultimate objective is to maximize the profit, right? That is their maximize profit. They may have different objectives, sub-objectives, right? But at the end, the ultimate objective is to maximize the profit. That is the truth, right? So then, when we analyze, okay, how organizations can achieve this profit maximization, it's rely on, it depends on two things, like revenue and the expenses. Because the profit is the gap between revenue and the expenses, right? If they want to maximize profit, they have two options. One is they have to reduce the expenses, so they have to increase the revenue, right? Then only with the if they focus on these two, then they are coming up with different strategies to decrease the cost, increase the revenue. So then through those strategies, they can achieve competitive advantages. When they can achieve competitive advantages, they can maximize the profit, right? So if they want to achieve competitive advantages, through reducing cost and increasing revenue, definitely with that, they have to go with the strategic changes. They need to initiate, then they need to lead, and they need to handle these strategic changes. If they are not going with, if they are not initiating, if they are not leading, if they are not handling these strategic changes, then the organizations cannot achieve competitive advantages, then they cannot maximize the profit, right? So these leading, handling strategic changes are really, really important for organizations as well as it's important for leaders, right? Because if they can go with the strategic changes and if they can implement strategic changes as well as if they can ensure so those strategic changes are delivering positive or the favorable outcomes towards the organization, then so it's giving a kind of a how would I say, like it's an indication that the leaders are performing well, right? So then they can achieve their own KPIs as well as they can contribute the organization also to achieve its targets, right? Okay. So then if we consider the strategic change, let me give you an example, right? It should be a significant transformation. So it should alter its existing organizational directions or the goals or the operations. So, and it should create an effect on the overall strategy of the organization, right? For an example, imagine let me give you an example for this. We'll take, there's an organization, right? So when it comes to the marketing aspect, right? So they focus on cost leadership, right? Their main strategy is cost leadership. Okay. So the existing strategy is cost leadership. That means they try to produce the product at a lower cost and they try to sell the product at a lower price. So then they are getting the benefit from that with a lower cost of production because then they can sell the product at a lower price. So through that they can attract customers, right? Imagine with it, if they are planning to change this strategy, right? From cost leadership to differentiation strategy, right? That is a significant transformation. That is one of the strategic changes, right? ඒ කියන්නේ පුතේ මෙච්චර කල් cost එක අඩුවෙන් හදලා product එක අඩු price එකකට දෙන්නනේ try කරේ. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලෝ sudden decision එකට එනවා in order to sustain and survive and in order to compete in the market. So they have realized that they have to change their strategy, right? After kind of an in-depth analysis. So now they are planning to go with differentiation strategy. It's a total, it's totally different, right? Differentiation in the sense, they try to produce a unique product, right? In the differentiation strategy, they don't try to develop a product at a lower cost and they don't try to sell the product at a lower price, right? They try to give more value to the end consumer, right? They try to add different unique features to the product. So then when they're adding unique features with it, so the price of the product is increasing. So now you can see, now they are trying to attract the customers through the uniqueness of the product, through the differentiation of the product, right? Now it's totally different, right? Strategic change, right? So in that way, we can discuss different examples, right? There are lots of examples that we can discuss as strategic change. If they are doing, adjustments for their business models, right? Those are strategic changes for the. Imagine if we consider the current business model of an organization, it focuses on the outlets. They don't have online platforms, right? Customers cannot purchase through online. They have to physically visit and purchase the items from the outlets. But if they are planning to change that business model to outlets plus online purchases, then that is also strategic change with it. Business model එක සම්පූර්ණ වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ out physical outlets විතරක් තිබ්බ company එකක online purchasing උත් allow කරනවා කියන්නේ ඒක business model එකේ change එකක්නේ. That is also can be considered as one of the strategic changes. Right? Okay. Then here other thing is, before they are moving on to these strategic changes, right, they need to have a proper understanding about the business environment, right? They cannot suddenly go with strategic changes. If it is a strategic change, if they want to initiate and lead a strategic change, right, so they need to do lots of studies, right? They need to do in-depth research, analysis, right? Then only they have to confidently the initiatives go with the change, right? So first, if they have a plan to initiate a strategic change, they need to obtain information. So how they can obtain information, right? They can use different techniques, different sources like market research, different published sources in the internet. They can do market experiments. They can critically analyze the different newspaper articles. Then they can like actively observe the market observations, right? So through that they can obtain information, basically not information, data, and they can analyze them, right? Then they can take the results from the analysis, and based on the results, they can decide the strategic change, right? So then for the like now it's clear. So if they want to obtain data, they need to analyze the business environment, right? So this analyzing business environment also really critical. It's crucial, right? If they are not accurately analyzing the business environment, then they may like initiate some wrong strategic changes, which are not giving them the expected outcomes, right? So then this business environment analysis is really critical in initiating and handling a strategic change, right? So the process is something like this today. If they have a plan to initiate a strategic change, first they need to analyze the business as well as they can apply different frameworks and then they can obtain data, then they can analyze them, then they can take insightful findings or the results. Based on the results, strategic changes, then they have to evaluate those possible strategic changes. Then out of the possible strategic changes, they have to select one or few strategic changes. It's a process today, right? The initial point of strategic change is business analysis. So you know if you consider, right? First, business environment is the collection of elements, right, which are existing outside and inside of the organizational boundary, right? Collection of elements, right? Factors, forces. So if we consider employees, then the owners, culture, what else? These pestle, social, legal, technological forces, right? Then the competitors, suppliers, customers, right? Those are organizational environmental factors and forces, right? So the business environment arrives, or like business environment in the sense, the collection of all these factors. Because those factors or the forces can create impacts on organizational performances. They can influence the organizational performances, same time today, those factors and the forces also get affected from the organizational activities or the organizational performances, right? So then, before like applying different analytical frameworks to understand these business environments, right? They need to understand the classification of business environment, right? So these are very basic things for the, but first I will clear these things, then we can move on to see the analytical frameworks that we can use to analyze business environment. Then we can discuss about the change and the change management areas, right? So this business environment, broadly we can categorize into two: internal business environment and the external business environment. Then external business environment, again, we can categorize into two: my task business environment and the macro business environment. Let me show you the classification. Yes. Environment, that means the micro business environment, and the other external environment is general or the macro business environment. If we consider employees, owners, then organizational culture, organizational resources, right? So these factors are existing within the organizational boundary. So that is called internal business environment. Collection of these elements we can mention as internal business environment. So this internal business environment with the managers can control. The controllability is there, right? If we focus on the external environment, if we consider competitors, customers, suppliers, right? They are existing in the micro business environment. They are also like existing beyond the organizational boundary, but close to the organizational boundary. Organization එකේ boundary එකේ එළියේ. හැබැයි organizational boundary එකට ගොඩාක් දුරින් නෙමෙයි, right? So in that case, the managers can control them up to certain level, cannot fully control, right? But up to some level, they can control. That is true with the practically thing. Up to some level, they can control suppliers, customers, competitors, right? Then if we consider external forces, political, economic, social, then environmental, right? Technological, legal forces, right? Those are existing beyond the organizational boundary, and it's a little bit far from the organizational boundary. So with it, organizational management cannot control them. For an example, if we consider inflation rate, can any single organizational management can change it? No, but they cannot, right? They cannot control, right? So if we consider the economic growth rate, one organization cannot control it. It's out of the control, right? If we consider the foreign exchange rate fluctuations, one organizational management cannot control it, right? Cannot control. Okay. So write down this. Write down the title, chapter name. Leading and handling strategic change. Leading or handling, not and leading or handling strategic change. Chapter 4. Then write down a subtopic, strategic change. I will briefly define what is strategic change with an example. A subtopic, strategic change. Write down. It is a significant transformation. It is a significant transformation In a business organizations, operations, it is a significant transformation in a business organizations, operations that alters, change करना, that alters its overall strategy. Example, changing marketing strategy of, changing marketing strategy of changing of marketing strategy, changing of marketing strategy of කියන එක පුතේ just cut it off. I made a mistake, sorry. Changing the marketing strategy from, changing the marketing strategy from cost leadership, from cost leadership to differentiation strategy. Cost leadership to differentiation strategy. Right? Then have a subtopic, business environment. Business environment. Write down. It is the collection of, it is the collection of different factors and forces. It is the collection of different factors and forces existing outside and inside the organization's boundary. The organization's boundary. Then continue. Those factors can create impacts on organizational performances, organizational performances, that is subject, right? Then continue writing. Business environment can be broadly categorized into two. Put a semicolon. First one, internal business environment. And put a small dash. Internal business environment. Put a small dash and write down some examples. Employees, owners, organizational culture, resources, right? Then write down the second one, external environment. Under the external environment, write down two. External environment එක කියලා ලිව්වා. ඒක යටට ගන්න දෙකක්. First one, micro or the task environment. Micro/task environment. Put a small dash. Write down these things. Competitors, suppliers, then customers. Right? Then write down second one under external environment, because external environment we can categorize into two, micro, the task environment, and second one is macro or the general environment. Macro/general environment. Write down examples. Pestal forces. එකට ලියාගන්න පුතේ. Capital P, capital E, capital S, capital E, capital S, capital T, capital E, capital L. Forces. Capital P, capital E, capital S, capital T, capital E, capital L. එකට ලියන්න capital වලින්. Forces. Pestal forces. Within brackets write down political, economic, social, technological, environmental or the environment, legal. Pestal stands for etiquette. Pestal stands for political, economic, social, technology, environment, and legal. Right? Okay. So then with this, I will conclude the content related to chapter number 4, because for today, right? So then with the next week, when we are like physically meeting, we can, I will give you a small summary also, and we can start with analytical frameworks, right? So then let me take the attendance. Meantime, if you want to clarify anything, ask from me, right? So next week, it's a physical lecture from 8 to 12. සති 4යිනේ තව ඔබ යන්න තියෙන. ඒ නිසා physical එන්න පුතේ, right? So දවස් එකක් නෙමෙයිනේ, you can manage, right? I mean like not 4 weeks, 5 weeks, right? 3 weeks for the syllabus or to cover the content, and the next 2 weeks for the presentations. Right, okay, you all can scan the QR code. Hope all of you have marked the attendance. If there's anyone who couldn't mark the attendance, put it now tell Billy, right? So if you cannot unmute your mic, at least drop a message to one of your friends and ask me to mark your attendance. After this, Pute, don't send me like you were there, right? Then I cannot capture the Pute. So that is there. So in that case, if you want to mark your attendance, tell now Pute, then I can go to the settings and then from my end I can mark. Is there anyone who couldn't mark the attendance? No, right? So then I assume all of you have marked the attendance, right? So yes, Pute. So then with this, we can wind up the session for today. Before winding up, tell me if do you need to clarify anything regarding upcoming sessions or regarding assignments?
No, miss.
Now we want to go, right? Yes, yes. So then Pute, right, okay. So then see you all next week physically, Pute, right? We are going to conduct the lecture physically. So then stay safe. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Yeah.